What's going on, Undrafted family? Welcome to our episode 8 of this season 1. More and more as we're growing, I'm excited to think, hey, maybe we should go for a season 2. You know, why not?
Why not?
But definitely, happy Sunday, everyone. We're just so glad to be with our guest today, Miss Coach Chelsea Muir. Before we jump into that special podcast interview and conversation with her, that we just want to say our podcast crew member and brother, Kevin Squarzone, is finally engaged to our little sister, Alejandra Martinez. It's been a long time coming. We're so happy to hear that they have blessed, come together in this union. We just best them the best of luck. I apologize. And he's not with us today due to the celebration with family and more, but he has given us his point of view for the show, and we also just don't want to forget about him. We know that he has a special moment going on. We respect that, and we just miss him that he won't be with us today. But let him celebrate. We're happy for him. Go do you, bro, with your family and enjoy that moment. It only comes once in a lifetime. So yeah, most definitely congratulations again to Kevo. We love you very much. Okay. Coach Danny, how is your week going so far?
I will not lie. This was definitely one of my most challenging weeks. I won't get into it, but school was definitely challenging. But it allowed me the opportunity, for growth. I got to talk to. It really, really helps when you have like a supportive, principal, vice principal,
sure,
along your back. So that being said, shout out to Medina, for helping me out. I won't get into it, but that being said, she's the best. But other than that, no, it was I'm happy it's over, and I think tomorrow's teacher in service.
Yes, so we don't have school.
That's an extra day.
And opportunity for us to just get the rest of the year stronger and finish strong. So we're excited for tomorrow too.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm doing good. It was actually my first week back to work. Not gonna lie. It was probably like 8 weeks that I wasn't at work from this medical leave, and that was just a blessing to be around my students. That's why I tweeted the other day, I'm blessed to see Jesus through my students. They give me that energy, that hope, just to keep going, and I can see it in them, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed at the position I'm in, and just ready to get back to work. So I'm excited.
Shout out to God first and foremost.
Yes, amen. No, I'm just so excited. Excited for his protection too. I'm grateful for that. So
awesome. That's what's up. Well, just a reminder, we would like to shout out to Smiles Missionary Foundation. This foundation focuses on offering the youth and adults better education, essential medical care, basic nutrition, and a bevy of other things. But that being said, shout out to that missionary foundation. If you guys can, please go to their page on Instagram. If you'd like to donate, you can do so there. But thank you, Smiles Missionary Foundation.
Thank you again to Pastor Squarzone, Gustavo Squarzone, who is Kevin's dad, who is also a big part of this missionary push. So thank you guys for your support and listening into them. All right, we come to the part of the show now where we talk about our guest a little bit. Chelsea has played high school varsity all 4 years. She had offers throughout that time, but she tore her ACL. She had the opportunity, though, to continue to play in Livingstone College. She was the point guard for the Livingstone College Blue Bears. She says, in spite of her health setbacks, she was able to lead the team in assists each year. Dang, girl was going. And then it says she's also a 4-year letter winner and was nominated for the NCAA Women of the Year in 2009. And also, while she was playing, fun fact, she was also crowned Miss Livingstone College HBCU College Queen. So I'm in the honor, honor of royalty and stuff. So this is going to be fun.
Let's go.
All right. So no further ado, we bring you now Miss Coach Chelsea Muir.
What's up, y'all? So happy to be here, man. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I am great. Any better, I couldn't stand it.
Awesome. That's good.
Okay.
What does the word undrafted mean to you and signify to you? What does the word mean?
That's a good question. So undrafted would probably mean to me not selected, but it signifies that we're still chosen. And what I mean by that is if we take the word drafted, and we know some of the best athletes that went undrafted technically, you know, they have a success story when a championship game comes and it's like, you know, he was a walk-on and made his way. There's always a success story. So even though we may be undrafted, much like you know, saw my bio, I got injured. And a lot of the offers that I had got taken away. So I wasn't drafted, but I was still chosen. And I was chosen by Livingstone College that still resulted in a scholarship. And it gives you a push, I think. Being undrafted gives you a push.
Motivational push. I was going to ask you, where is Livingstone College located?
So it is in Salisbury, North Carolina, which is about 25 miles north of Charlotte.
Oh, okay. North Carolina. Okay.
Home of cheer wine, you know, soda and Food Line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I need to go out there and visit. I've never really been to North Carolina like that.
Yeah.
But, but you guys are basketball country too, right? North Carolina?
Of course. So, you know, when I'll tell you this, so don't feel bad because I knew of Livingstone College because I know all HBCUs. You know, I'm down here in Tallahassee. So my family was FAMU. But I knew of the HBCU, but I did not know of the area. And it's small town area. It has Livingstone College and Catawba College, same, you know, setup there. But just amazing. And it is basketball and sports, period, because it's not much to do. So when sports seasons are there, the city definitely waits for that to come around and have something to do.
Nice, nice. Sounds like a little bit like our college because our college is so small in this small. Well, first of all, shout out to Southwestern. Hey. That's why I kind of gave the little hoodie, you know, a little bit support, but definitely like, you know, small town, Keene, Texas is probably like, man, when I was there, probably like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
how many people were at Livingstone?
So while I was there, it's Livingstone. So we're taking life out of the stone. Yeah. Biblically driven. Yeah. So Livingstone College. So when I was there, probably about 1,500 students. They have definitely grown now. So I think right under 3,000, but we were definitely small. And I loved it though. It's so family oriented.
Yeah. I'm going to continue to dig deeper because now I'm intrigued. Did you guys ever play Oakwood?
We never played Oakwood. No, we never played Oakwood while I was there. We did not. Did you have a connection with Oakwood?
Yes, they're under our same umbrella, but they're also HBCU, they're Adventists. So I was just like, man, that's cool. Like I didn't even know, like my husband and I, we were looking historically more into that, and I didn't know they were also considered an HBCU. So I was like, that's tight.
So we're in the CIAA conference, and if you've never heard of that or never gone to the convention, once things with the pandemic gets on the other side, you have got to go. They've moved it now from Charlotte to, I believe, Maryland, but it is amazing. So we're in there with like Virginia Union, Virginia State, Johnson Smith, those schools like that.
Nice. Okay, that's a different division for us. That's actually some new information and knowledge that I'm actually learning. So appreciate that. Okay, cool. What was the toughest part about coming back from your ACL injury? And this was before they both didn't know about your brain aneurysm. So we can jump into that, your testimony now, if you'd like, for a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I think, you know, even coming from both of those, the same question you opened up with about what does it mean to be undrafted? And, you know, of course, ACL, I was the first person like in my family like to truly pursue like basketball, and it started to show that I was going to be able to get scholarships to go play. And when I injured myself, you know, back in 2004, 2005, it was almost like ACLs was like, what? Oh my God, you think you're about to die, right? Because you didn't hear about it so much. Now you hear ACL, and it's like, oh, it's all right, you know. And it was hard because one, you learn, and I tell people all the time, don't be with me to ride the train if you don't want to be with me to build a track. And in those times when you're going through, you find out who truly is in your corner. And it was a long road trying to go through that. And of course, you know, I had an amazing surgeon. Shout out to Dr. Rowe. He's actually been in my knee multiple times, y'all, but he's amazing. And, you know, bounced back actually faster than anyone. And I knew that was God. I actually was done by 5 months with everything. And
what year was this, if you don't mind me?
This was in 2005.
Okay. So in about 6 month period.
Yep. So, and it was like, there's no way you could be ready. There's no way. So we took extra time for precaution, but I indeed was ready. And my surgeon came to games, but it really was a tough process, but I was not afraid of the push. And I love how God allows you to go through things that you need for things that are to come. So you asked about my aneurysm, and granted in that time, you're talking about one thing happened at 17, the next one happening at 21. Those are totally different mindsets, right? But of course, the lessons that I learned from recovering from my ACL were the same lessons that got me through my aneurysm. So we were playing a game. And when you learn about the CIAA, we would play in conference play Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So by Saturday, you're dead. Like your legs are just weak. You know, the gyms are hot. Y'all know what I'm saying? So it wasn't uncommon to feel fatigued and hot. So I was just like, I'm okay. I'm good. And I remember coming out of timeout and was inbounding the ball. And that's the last I remember. Next thing I remember, I was waking up in the hospital. And granted, you know, there's so many ins and outs to this story, but the key piece in that is in that time where, you know, was experiencing so many symptoms from it, there was a blessing even in me enduring, because most people that go through an aneurysm don't find out until they're in the ground.
Yeah.
And their family may have done an autopsy. So God was already doing a work in me. I was already being blessed as I was going through the pain. That was testimony enough, right?
Yeah.
And once it was revealed, it was amazing because the foundation of my faith was already attached through my family and growing up. But that was a separation to where I learned God and who he is and what he's able to do for myself. And so, you know, after that process and going through, God healed me from that. And I've learned to push, drive. And not only did I know him to be a healer, I've watched him work that healing power in me. So,
okay. And now, did we have that same kind of mindset during, because I know while that stuff is kind of going on, a lot of people might be asking, oh, you know, why me, God? Or like, you know, why, you know, was our mindset set still the same, should I say?
Yep. And then what I add to that and what I tell people is that when we say, why me, God, God says, why not you? When we ask why me, God, God says, why not you? I chose you for such a time as this. And so that keeps me moving in the midst of the storm. I was saying this to somebody yesterday, and it's the truth. The same God that got me through the last storm is the same God that's going to be present in this storm and get you through the current situation. So,
true.
You know, just lean on him. Why not you?
Church
Can we go to your church? Church. Dang.
We got church up in here. Okay. Well, with that being said, what made you start the Servant Leader podcast? Like, what was then the push for the Coach's Bible study? Yeah.
I'm pretty tied in there, and push and press is actually my 2021 word. Awesome. But, you know, it started with, I always do the Bible study devotions, just trying to better myself, you know, trying to grow in the word. And, you know, as it tells you in the word, like man can't live off bread alone. You have to live off the word of God. And I started one with coaching. I said I did one for every aspect of my life and never really did coaching. And the pandemic gave us time, right? We got of it. So and when I did it, you know, I used to say something said, and my mom and my aunt, God rest her soul, used to always say, don't say something, that's God speaking to you. And so God led me to ask. I had a, you know, pretty good following of coaches on Twitter. And so I posted and said, I'm about to do this plan. Who would like to join me? And then at time, there were actually 49 coaches who joined that week-long Bible plan. And, you know, we were able to bounce things off of one another and comments and things like that. And, you know, my brother, Ty Garth, he is over Ollie Lifestyle Mentoring Group and doing some great things in his own right. He was like, we got to get together and talk about this. Like, I'm seeing everyone's notes, but I would love to talk. So set up a Zoom call. And, you know, with me, I love to read stuff and see stuff, but I think the best is in action. So I started out with different coaches who were in the plan, who are coaching football and basketball and soccer. And I said, I want to know, what does servant leadership look like as you coach your program? So we got Willie Simmons at FAMU, Jessica Kern, who at the time was at Tennessee State, right? We had Coach C.Y. at Florida State. We had so many coaches come on that week. And after that week, they were like, yo, Chelsea, we don't want this to end. Like, I don't know what you have to do, but you can keep it going. And so it's just been amazing because everybody from that week, that first week, Kendra, Aaron, all of them, they consistently are like, sis, keep this thing going. And so here we are, you know, we do it live and we put on a podcast so that the world, like the word says, go to all you nations and preach the gospel. And that's what we're doing. So
wow, that's so cool. Okay, so what season are you guys in now?
3. We are in season 3. I just posted episode 8.
Nice.
Just posted episode 8. Last night, 2 nights ago, Coach P Former coach at Duke University. Her book is coming out, Secret Warrior, in the next couple of weeks, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm excited. I was actually tuned in for that one, and man, it just hit me like I really needed it that day, and just to hear her like testimony, like her health testimony, and was kind of related to my incident. I was just like, yo, this was just like the fuel I needed. Like that's when I texted you and told you, man.
That's the beauty of it, though. The beauty of it is that this is truly not orchestrated. And when you take your hand off and allow God to move, I get so many of those messages like you sent me. That's like, oh my God, Chelsea, I just thought I was walking in this world thinking it only happened to me. And you mean to tell me Coach such and such was going through that? Like, we see him on the sidelines. I never would have thought. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We think we see the glory. We don't see the story. You know, but when Cheryl Swoops comes on, I mean, highly and heavily decorated in every award you can see, and talks about how her storms, and she overcome her storms, that can only lead you closer to Christ. Only lead you closer to Christ.
Yes, that's true. Action. It's all action.
There
okay.
We were leader of Livingstone in assists. Okay, what separated you, or what did you see different out there on the court that allowed you to do that?
Oh, one of the greatest things since my brother taught me this game. My brother, I call him my twin, but he's older than me.
Okay.
He was the only boy, so that's how I actually came into the game of basketball as a young kid. I started as his rebounder, and who knew I could actually shoot. So he came, and he didn't just teach me just go through the motions. He taught me the game. And I could see it from the ins and outs. Even my coaches, you know, shout out to Andrew Mitchell. He's the one that recruited me at Livingstone College, and that whole staff, every coach through there. And he trusted me at a young age, y'all. Because I wasn't supposed to get like dominant playing time my freshman year. But you know how injuries happen and things like that. And so I was thinking this is going to be my learning year. But he would talk to me, and he would always say, what do you see? And that's some of the same things I say to my girls. Let me see what you see so that I can correct you, or you're on the floor. Maybe I can help my coaching style because you're seeing what I'm not. So I was always able to see. And the other portion is I knew my personnel on my team. So I knew how to better set you up. You don't get assists without your teammates. I tell you, point guards, yes, you're awesome, but you don't get assists without your teammates. And so you have to learn to trust them. You have to learn how they hold the ball. And so I would always know where they were, to the point where sometimes if they were injured and weren't there, I would get some turnovers because my normal rhythm is So my vision and the IQ for the game truly did help me to be able to see the court vision and be able to help those that were on the bench. Hey man, I need you to do this because I'm telling you it'll work. And it was just awesome to have that insight.
Okay. And because that's an elite skill to have, to lead in anything, but especially assists. There must have been dimes galore. So we're looking for the mixtape if you have it. But that being said,
let me tell you this. And I told my players that I was like, I'm on the cusp. And I was watching y'all intro, and I was a little jealous. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to hit up servant leader, our commissioner, see how and get something, because I tell them, I say, I grew up on the cusp. They're like, Coach, you don't have, this, that. I'm like, boo. When I was in college, Facebook just started. They're like, what?
Exactly.
I'm like, yes. And it was only for college students. I was like, we didn't have Instagram.
So wait, you had a MySpace then?
Yeah.
Okay, we all had a MySpace.
Why did she say it's so shameful?
I had a MySpace. I couldn't even tell a lie about that. But I'm gonna have to hit up. I have to hit the commissioner and see what we can find on my old coach. But my teammates, truly, shout out to them. All of my teammates from Livingstone College, Lady Blueberries, they were awesome. I mean, come on.
So sorry, go ahead, Mel.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that must be cool that that team chemistry made your job easier.
Oh, all the time. When you have people that are about to drop dimes, and I tell athletes now, why wouldn't I give it to you? I would get in trouble sometimes because I would get to the basket, but I know my top 3-point shooters in that baseline and
waiting for you.
Camera offense. Like, why did you just lay it up? And I'm like, because I knew she was gonna make it. And the trust and faith that you have, and when you can build that on the floor, Lord knows you can build it off the floor.
And like now you're coaching at your old high school, if I'm correct.
Right. Yeah, high school. Yep.
Gabi, okay. Now, is transferring that same skill into your students, is it easy or is it very, very, very hard because, you know, as coaches, you see one thing and then your students, like you said, or your players, they see something else. So talk about that if you will.
It is definitely a learning curve.
Okay.
Because I think that there's so many other variables that come into play, if that makes sense. So you have people always talk about, oh, this generation is different, and they are, but that's not a bad thing, to a degree.
True.
Okay.
True.
They're different because their parents are different.
Yeah.
They're different because we love the game. I was telling my players the other day, I was like, guys, from the outside looking in, coach is gonna always take the losses. Coach Brittany Ezel, she's one of my mentors. She always says that, and I agree. Coaches will always take the losses. I have no problem with that. But what I can't take is I can't give you heart, and I can't give you drive. I can't do that. That comes from you. Like there is no drill that says, "Hey, this is the heart drill." We could try. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard when you have coaches and people in our time and prior to us who we love this game, y'all. Like we would blood, sweat, and tears go after it. I was telling my players the other day, and my godmother, shout out to her, she helps out with the team, and she was there when I was playing. And she was like, y'all coach, I vowed to never be that old coach that's like, see, back in my day, I don't do that. I vow when I start coaching, I don't do that. And so she tells them often, like, I remember a time we were actually playing a team that we played when I was in high school. And she said, I remember a time where your coach literally was like about to pass out and made an and one, and the free throw would have helped win the game. And they wanted to sub her out. And she's like, no, I am shooting this free throw. Shot the free throw and would never forget, like had an asthma attack and just was out. But we won the game. And so what I try to tell her, don't do crazy stuff like that. But what I'm saying is it's for the love of the game. So it is hard because when you're trying to teach young people, there's so many other variables now, especially where I teach, where, I teach more than this game. Basketball is an avenue. Basketball is an avenue.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, I will not sacrifice the player trying to win a game. I will not lose player trying to win a game. I'm not doing that. Does everybody agree? No. But what I do know is when they walk across the stage, I win 100%.
Oh yeah.
We have 100% win rate. What's your record? 100%, because they all have diplomas, and that's what we're going for. So is it a learning curve? Yes, but we're getting better at it. They're young and they're learning me, and they're starting to understand the bigger picture. And so, just stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting to hear your same high school program development, because that's kind of what I'm instilling here. I don't know if you know much about New Mexican culture. We're kind of, last place in education, last place, it's kind of like slowly, low ratings. Like if people can choose between college and life, they're going to choose life because that's how,
you got to make your money.
You got to make your money.
That's my demographic, so I feel you.
Okay, cool. So then with that, we're also trying to adjust, not just discipline, but love, guidance, that type of support, because like you said, it's more than just a game. It's a gateway. And then I just see a lot of what you're doing is great. So maybe like, do your students listen to your podcast too?
They do. And so some of them, and I try to kind of make it's not a requirement because it is faith-based. And so, it makes it harder. But yes, they do. And especially when it's extra credit, I do things like that as well. But I allow some of them to actually come on because the show is live. We also have coaches that can come on. So it has the Bible study fellowship feel. So if you listen to the podcast, you're not only going to hear the speaker for that day, you're going to hear great dialogue from some coaches that you see on the sidelines every day, and it's an amazing insight. So they listen to it, and they're starting to understand that there's more to life that's out there.
Well, that's a blessing to hear from your experience, because now we kind of feel maybe this is God's way of pushing the message to our students and our community. So that's great reinforcement coming from you, Chelsea. So thank you.
Same to y'all. Go for it.
Yeah. What have you learned from your NCAA experience that you now apply to your high school program? Like maybe like a skill, a drill, maybe culture. Like, did you learn anything from Livingstone that now your program has?
A lot of it.
Okay.
All of that you said. And I tell people all the time that sports and college in general is more than the education part, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not college material. Well, yes, you are, because there's things in life that you learn when you go down there. So there are many drills that I carry over today, and I tell them that. Yes, we had to do it too. It works, But culture, I would say, is the biggest piece. Culture is the biggest piece, because I can recall and remember, if you didn't cheer on the bench, I don't care if you're down 60 or up 60, you're not getting in the game. Because my coach would always tell all of my coaches, shout out to all of them, they would say there is a component that each one can play a part. And if you can't sit there and cheer and encourage, you're not doing your job. I learned responsibility. I was seeing a tweet out there actually this morning, was talking about, what do you do when your players aren't on time for certain things?
I saw that too.
Yeah. And it's like, see what I mean? See what I mean? And it's everywhere. It doesn't matter regionally. It doesn't matter where you are. Athletes of today, take heart if you're listening. Why does every coach on every level, pro, collegiate, high school, middle school, continue to say the same things? Parents, let us coach them. Let us coach them. It's okay. It's going to be hard, but let us coach them. Because what are you going to do in life when that boss is riding them? Why do we always have to talk about being on time? Why do we have to talk about that you need to come to practice and do more than just 2 hours of practice? It's the same concept and conversation. Why do we have to talk about the transfer portal? That things got hard, so I want to transfer, but you didn't play there either. So you transferred again and you didn't play there either.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And so I think at the end of the day, coaches aren't always right, but our intentions are always right. Absolutely, all the time, our intentions are always right. We don't always get it right, but trust me, especially on a high school and middle school level, for what we are getting, which is nothing. I tell the kids, I'm like, boo, what they give me, I spend on y'all.
Yes.
We want to be here. And so college really taught me in our basketball program about the culture being family, about being a woman, right? Coach Ezel always said, if you want them to be a woman, they got to see a woman, or insert man if that's what you do. And so it taught me that. It taught me the importance of time management. It taught me that I was more than just on the court. I had a lab. I was a biology and chemistry major. So I had a lab that on sometimes it was 4 to 7. And so if there was practice, my coach was like, just come when you get out of your lab. I was nervous. I was like, do I need to change this? He's like, no, you're a student first. Go to your lab and come to practice. And those are the things that I'm telling my kids. I'd rather you go to geometry tutoring than to come to my practice. Let's get right. So it was definitely heavy. And I put that into a Gabi program today.
Did you have any students that fought that culture? Like, how did you convince them, hey, this is okay, you should go to class, respect yourself, what you're accomplished? Like, what did you do to kind of learn that adjustment, I guess, with that type of student?
Yeah, well, they all fight it. Just being honest, because we're human. That's what we do, and there's some that didn't want to fight. So they decided to say, this isn't for me. And that's fine too, right? Because that's life. Sometimes things aren't just for everybody, but there's a standard. And I say that for every coach and everybody and what you're doing. When you know the right way is always the right way, don't change the game up. It's a standard. And I don't care. They're going to transfer. Because a lot of people want to take the easy route, right? But if you stay, and that's what I tell my parents and everything, if you allow it, if you stay, if you let them stay, I promise you, they're going to get with it. And so they fight it and they rebel. But what starts to happen is those D's turn to C's and C's turn to B's. And before you know it, the whole entire team has over a 3.0 GPA for the past 5 years. That's what I'm producing. And that is not a me thing. That's because they chose to. I tell the girls, this is not me. It's nothing I made. You made the choice, the conscious effort to want to be better. You go to class. You have to do it. And I think it also helps too, because it's like, I teach the sciences. So I'm not, I'm just over here and I'm all day. No, you working. Like I'm in here working, teaching, doing the same thing. 2 years ago, I was receiving my master's. Wow. And I told them on the road games, my assistant coach would drive and I'll be on my laptop. You need to be in your book because I'm in my book. And coach did a 4.0. What's your excuse? What's your excuse? And so at the end of the day, you had some to rebel, but majority of them, I would say 96% of them stay, and they're all the better for it. They're all the better.
So it's culture. Culture is the answer to so the establishment and standards of coaches basically need to establish that culture and action, show it in action.
You have to. You can't just say it. You have to be it. What they see is what they'll be. You have to be it. They got to see you in the trenches, and that's true servant leadership. You know, I'm getting old now. My knee be hurting, but sometimes they gotta see me cross them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. You
I see
know,
you with buckets though. I see you with buckets. Yeah.
Look, I got to every now and again because they got to know. These kids, my mom used to call them, they from Missouri. She said, y'all from Missouri, to show me state. They have to see it. They have to see it. And you can talk all day long, but if they don't see you in action, if we're losing by 60, we're both losing by 60. I'm not sitting down. I'm sitting here taking a 60-point loss.
Yeah.
That's what we do as women. You take it and you go back to the drawing board to take ownership and get better.
Good.
Now, like Coach Chelsea, there are coaches that are, you know, by the book, and there are coaches that are, you know, players coaches. You know, you seem like a little bit of both. How easy is it to balance and kind of know that line?
Yeah, and you see it correctly. I am a bit of both. I honestly, it comes down to tailor-made coaching. Somebody asked me a couple of podcast interviews ago, like, what would you call your style? And I was like, honestly, I don't have one because it changes. But I would just say it's tailor-made, and it does. I think it's easy for me to switch in and out because it depends on what the player needs.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I would say relationships for you seems like a very, very important thing.
Oh, it's huge.
Some coaches, it may just be like, hey, he's my player. He has to do X, Y, and Z. After we're done with the game, I don't got to see him. But like, you know, it seems like for you, there's more invested, which is important and much needed. It's
a huge investment. I feel, you know, majority of the time we're pushed by what we did not have. And I had amazing coaches, but I also saw it the wrong way. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's huge. I want them to know they can come to me. I feel that, you know, we have been blessed with an opportunity with God's greatest creations. And they spend just as much time, if not more, with you than they do with their own parents. So if they're with you for that time and you don't teach them anything other than dribbling a ball and shoot, that's a problem. That's a problem. And so you only get to that place with relationships. If they don't trust you, they don't play for you. If they don't trust you, they don't play for you. And the key piece is that a lot of them don't trust themselves. So you have to get to the core of that. You have to get to the core of that because this is much bigger. Coach, what's going on with them? Right? We love to ask coaches because it's easy to coach from the couch and from the stands. Right? It is. Yes. Right? Because they know everything. But the fact of the matter is, it's not my job. Somebody was asking me the other day, Coach, you know what? It's not my job to tell you that. It's my job to care about them and handle that. Just my mom says, family business. You don't tell your family business.
Yeah.
It's our family business. And we got this. We're working on it. But I think that relationship is huge. And I can easily move in and out because of those relationships and knowing what they need at those moments.
Okay. And have there ever been like a student that maybe you thought like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to, if we're ever going to connect, like.
Definitely. And it definitely. And it was amazing. I'll never forget this. And I'm going to shout her out. Kiera Bird. I'm going to shout her out because she is my kid. And I will send it to her so she can see this. And I will never forget it. It was just, I just felt like, oh my gosh, why do you always want to butt heads with me?
Yeah.
If there were ever a player, all of my players work hard, they go hard, I'm proud of them. But if there were ever a player that literally, if I was in a dark alley, okay, and I needed to pick one, I'm picking her.
Okay.
And there was a game where she just, and I think honestly, in her whole high school career, this was probably the only game that I can think of. And her frustrations would not come from me. She wouldn't have an attitude with me. She would get frustrated with herself if she was not performing. And this was a game and we were doing well and she just shut down, totally shut down. And normally I could bring her back, but I could not. Yeah. And we had a heart-to-heart that next day. And I said, you quit on me. I said, and I've experienced that from numerous players. Okay. I said, but I've never expected that to you because all of these years, it was her senior year. I said, you've always had my back. And you quit on me. Yeah. And I will never forget the look on her face. Homegirl came out the gate the next game and just went on the scholarship, you know, and I'm just, when I pay attention to her sometimes, and oftentimes I think on her and we still communicate, I'm just thankful for those hard moments though, because it showed me and her both, I believe, if she were asked that, you know, don't give up on people.
Yeah.
Don't give up on people. Because 9 times out of 10, what they're showing you, that's not the core issue, right? And so to this day, you know, she can call me and I can call her too. That's my kid. So,
well, shout out to what's her name? Kiera Bird. Kiera Bird. All right, that's
shout
what's up.
All
right, I feel a lot from her too as a player growing up to just, getting frustrated with myself. And I think when I was young at that time, I didn't understand that my coach possibly was trying to get at me and try to connect with me. And I was just so stubborn. And now that you said that story, it kind of flashes me back 15 years back and be like, man, did I mess up then? You know what I mean? So that's pretty big. What would you tell yourself knowing what you know now?
Ooh, Kevin, you came hard.
Hindsight is 2020.
This engagement got my brother going deep now.
Yeah. What would you tell yourself?
You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to explain anything.
What do you mean by that? Is
this
something personal?
You don't have to let that breathe for a minute. You know how we feel. This is sports and life. We feel that everything needs a justification. All right, why are you not winning? Let me justify it. Why is this going this way? Let me justify it. Why did you choose that? Let me justify it. Somebody's saying something that's not true over there. Let me explain and tell my side. You don't have to justify anything. You don't have to tell your side of the story. Actions will, time will, and God will. And I learned that in the basketball aspect of my life. I've learned that now with this new endeavor of a servant leader, that's just the nature of people, right? The nature of people are to judge and have opinions. But at the end of the day, you are working. If your faith is in God, you are working for one thing, and that is to hear, servant, well done. And when you can fix your eyes on that, does anything else really matter? It doesn't, because if you're focusing on what man says, who is imperfect, who can't give you salvation, your attention is in the wrong place. And so we all do it. We're human. We care what people say and think. We're all human. But the more mature I get spiritually and in life, I realize that if I'm so focused on doing the will of God, justification isn't needed. You know why? Because I'm working on what I'm going to say when I get there to see him. It's not important anymore. Did I do what I always say? I'm running errands for the Lord. Did I run my errands right? And I can't run my errands if I'm running around justifying and explaining and fighting battles that's not mine. So if I were to learn anything, if I were to have learned anything, it is truly that justification isn't necessary, and you don't have to tell your side of the story. You are working on servant well done, and as long as you keep your focus there, everything else falls into place.
I feel like we're still in church. Amen. So this is one audience. You do it for one audience.
That's it, and we're the church. The church is in us. So if we do that, it's gonna be everywhere you go, right?
Oh man, that.
If you ever become a pastor and have your own congregation, we will be present.
Yes.
Know that.
Let me tell you, I don't know what God has in store. And I've gotten to the point where there used to be an old song that say, leave it in the hands of the Lord. That's what I do. I'm just going to leave whatever it is and he has in the hands. But you all appreciation and support has been amazing. So I appreciate you guys.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Coach Chelsea, we're going to move on to the next part of our show. It is called This or That. It is a segment where you get to choose the best of, one thing or another. You will have a theoretical 30 seconds on the clock. So the point it will be just to answer as quickly as possible. Excuse me.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up these questions.
Y'all do know I was on Family Feud, right? So I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So, man, don't some of those Family Feud answers be like, sometimes people be like,
because I had some crazy ones too, so I can't talk about it.
Sometimes it's like, wow, what are you thinking? Okay, here we go. All righty, Coach Chelsea, we'll start this or that. First question, WNBA or NBA?
WNBA. I don't need any time. WNBA.
All day. All righty. Now, women's NCAA or WNBA?
Woo! Now, y'all see, you tell me you're going to get that deep. I would say women's NCAA.
Okay, how come?
I would say that because you got to think about it. You mentioned undrafted, right? There are so fewer rounds. These girls are trying to make it, right? So the grind is heavier. Not only that, they play all 4 quarters, not when it's important, not when you're leading to playoffs. They know that every game counts, and so they're playing every single game.
That's true.
I love it. Okay.
Raw basketball.
True. Now, Old or New Testament of the Bible?
Woo!
Which you prefer to dive into
I
after a
feel like
long
y'all
day?
did that one just for me too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going old.
Okay, how come?
I'm a traditional person. I am.
Okay.
I grew up in tradition, but I feel that is often overlooked. But the stories that are necessary, those if he did it before, he can do it again. Stories happen there, right?
Yeah.
And as they
Okay.
say in Esther, for such a time as this, a lot of those Old Testament stories, y'all, are redeveloping again. And so if you understand it happened before, you don't think God can't do it because he did it then.
Yeah, is Esther your favorite book of the Bible or favorite story?
It's one of them. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
nice.
Before you continue, who is your Old Testament Bible relevance person?
Ooh.
Like who would you say
Person
is
of
the story?
relevance.
Ruth? Why Ruth?
Well, because much of the same, right? Because we feel that no matter who we are, where we come from, there's no way God was trying to use me. And then there's no way that even in him trying to use me, now I'm caring about what people say. So backing up what I just said in terms of we're not justifying if God said, hey, I'm coming for you. He's coming for you. Like, it's not about that. He said, you're ready. You're ready. He does not. He called a qualified. He qualifies the call. So move on and do what you got to do for such a time.
Okay. I've never heard of someone choosing her like that. Okay, cool.
That's what's up. Now, cereal or milk first? Which goes first in the bowl?
Cereal.
Okay, good. We didn't stutter. No stuttering over here. Coaching or playing? Which do you prefer?
Playing.
Okay.
Days of playing. Alrighty.
Playing.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix all day. Alrighty. Last question. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Weights.
Yes,
Okay. Clanging and banging. Okay.
And running.
Okay, that's what's up.
And granted, we're on a time crunch, y'all. So all my critics that be out there talking about why she said that, y'all know how to do.
We're still theoretical. We're at what? 25 seconds left.
All right, let's go. WNBA first. Let's go with Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie, and Tisha Pinachero.
Hey, man, we haven't heard that yet, and that's
why. Okay.
Why did you?
That's
is that
in her
like
game,
your go-to?
Huh?
Is she your go-to like all-time point guard?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
man.
in terms of how I developed my game, like I know some people say, "No stats," and The girl was bad, and you talking about come on.
So you fancy pass like her too?
I would try until my coach be like, "Girl,
wow, that is a throwback. Okay. That's a good one.
That's a throwback for sure. Okay, what about NBA top 5?
All right, NBA top 5. Ooh, let's see. We're gonna go Steph Curry, Jordan, Shaq.
Okay.
Clyde Drexler.
Wow.
And
I want to know about why Dry Exel too. I want to know why.
Oh,
Curry, Jordan, Shaq, Drexler,
Isaiah Thomas. Oh, not new.
Okay. By the way.
Okay.
Old, not new. I love new IT too, but still.
Just saying. Old Isaiah used to give Jordan problems. Just saying.
Agreed. And most people say, "Well, Steph's your one." I'm talking about the traditional NBA. Put my dog on the wing. Put it and let Isaiah do what I would love to do. Drop down. And so
why create space?
I was like water. Water. And he was underrated in those times. And I say that people knew who he was, but he but he was in the time of the Jordans. Clyde could do everything. He would glide through, he could shoot, he could dunk, but he played D. Like Clyde Drexler was the man. I don't care what
slept on.
Yeah,
that's true, man. I'm glad that you dropped some new names because you dropped a lot of new names for sure for both teams.
It gets hard. I'm telling you, especially if you grew up like in our era where we actually watch these people, you kind of know the predictability. And if I sat and talked and strategically, it would probably change a few, but those names definitely deserve to be in there.
Okay.
Sure, nice.
Well, Coach, thank you again for joining us. This has been a blast to really hear your testimony and just really get to know you and why you do what you do. We're thankful. We just appreciate the podcast again and just overall just knowledge. Like I feel like I have growth for the week. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
No, for sure. Like we really appreciate you. We hope.
And what days can we tune in to your podcast to show our support?
Awesome. So, of course, for the live shows, they honestly, because the things have been opening back up, it really comes down to myself and the speaker when we can. But I know we definitely do Mondays and Saturdays. Those are standard. But even if you miss those live shows and the sporadic days that we change, they're always on a podcast I upload on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays.
Okay.
Awesome.
And if you can, everyone, look below. You can see follow Chef Fran John for Instagram.
She Fran John. Yep. She Fran John. That's Francesca Johnson. Yep.
Okay, cool.
The latest speakers that are coming on and little nuggets that we drop to get you through the week.
Okay, very good. Thank you again, Coach. God's blessings on you and everything that you do in your program as well. And you know you always have our support. Thank you again, sis, for
I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for what y'all do.
Yeah, for sure. Have a great Sunday. We'll catch you on.
Thanks.
We'll have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Man, yo.
Nice.
What a show. Just more empowering and powerful women that role models need more and more every day. I'm just so grateful to have her as a mentor, be able to lean on her and just learn a lot. A lot of what she said, I felt it. You know, I felt her journey. I felt her experience, and I can really see God working through her. So, you know, I continue to pray that God works through us, you know, and I'm thankful for this opportunity that we have to be on this podcast. And it was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, man, it was fun, man. A lot of, like I said, I'm not just out here capping about her podcast or about you know, if she starts a church, we'll show up for sure. But that being said, please tune in if you can. She said Saturdays and Wednesdays.
Mondays, Saturdays.
Mondays, Saturdays. Okay, yes. Please tune in and show support if you can. But nah, man, a lot of inspiration on those ends. I wish we would have done this sooner.
Yeah, for sure, sooner. And it was
per
great.
guest we get, it's like, man, I wish I would have had this knowledge beforehand, you know. So
thank you again, everyone, for tuning in and showing your support. We drop our episode 9 coming up throughout the week with Coach Curry from the University of Maine. She is the assistant coach for the men's basketball team. She is the first female I believe D2 or D1 coach. And so we'll look more into that and it's going to be very exciting. Nice. So this is your Undrafted crew. One more time, we just want to say congratulations to our brother Kevin and Alejandra or Ale. We love you guys so much. We pray and hope that everything goes well in your union. And we just wish you guys the best. This is Coach Mel Tarasi signing off.
I'm Coach Danny in your face.
And we'll catch y'all later, man. We love y'all. Stay easy and be safe this week.
Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.